What's up, and welcome back to another Keeping It Real podcast. This week, we are looking at the Oscar nominees ahead of next week's ceremony and predicting who will win and who we think should win the big awards. As always, I'm your host, James, joined by Jack, Calvin, and Reese. We spent all week catching up on these movies and don't want to push our time, so let's just get into it. Best cinematography, going to start off with. So we've got Judas and the Black Messiah, Mank, Nomadland, The Trial of the Chicago 7, and News of the World. So, Calvin, we'll start with you. Do your should win and your will win.
Yeah, I think it's quite a weak category this year, but I think what will win will be Nomadland because it does such a good job of sort of capturing the beauty of like the American sort of countryside, I guess.
Yeah.
But I suppose when you're working with that sort of countryside, it's not easy, but it's easier to make the film really beautiful when you were constantly filming at
just given to
early morning and evening, the sunset and sunrise.
Yeah.
So I think that's where it sort of wins. So I think that will win, and I also think that should win out of the nominees that we've got this year, which, to be honest, I don't think have been that great for this category.
Yeah, I'm the same. Nomadland, I think, will win, and I'm happy if it does take it. Like when watching it, it is so natural, and I liked Chloe Zhao's approach to it. It looks borderline documentary.
Yeah,
and I thought that worked really well. So I'm happy if that takes it. The other one I'd say was Judas and the Black Messiah, as well. Just a little shout out because I thought that film did look really good. But I agree with you. There's no like standout this year. Reese?
Yeah, I think I agree with that. From what I've seen of Nomadland, it does look really good. It does look, like they've done a really good job of that. But again, yeah, I think Judas and the Black Messiah is a shout out as well because that film looked great.
There were some frames in that movie where I was like, that could be that could be some wall art. It
was like the fantasy of Lakeith Stanfield running into the building that was all broken.
That was this shot I was thinking of.
That was the best shot in the entire film. Yeah,
easily.
Yeah.
Jack?
Nomadland again for like literally the same reasons as Cal. I think if you're doing a film in that setting, it's almost like cheating cinematography because any direction you look, it's just an insane landscape to film. I just don't think it's fair in comparison to the others.
It's just taking advantage of it, really. Yeah.
Hats off to the locations department, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give it to them.
You could say the same thing about News of the World, I guess, because of the setting of that. But I just think Nomadland.
I'd say Nomadland took better advantage of it.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think the two probably I would say are the strongest, but I think Nomadland will and should win that.
Nice, we're all in agreement.
Don't think it's going to be too difficult.
Good start. Right, so next we'll move on to best visual effects. So we've got Love and Monsters, The Midnight Sky, Mulan, The One and Only Ivan, and Tenet. Jack, we'll start with you.
I mean, for a film where they had to literally learn how to run backwards, like convincingly, Tenet for me. Mulan, maybe Mulan. I don't know. That just seems like the kind of thing that they just throw at Disney to just.
I mean, Mulan looked nice. It looked really good. I have no problem. Like that movie wasn't great, but it looked really nice.
Yeah.
Has anyone else seen Love and Monsters yet?
Not yet.
No.
Really good movie, but the visual effects in it were actually quite impressive. I can't imagine the budget on it was very high, but
is it all CGI based?
I think it was. I think it was a blend.
Oh, yeah, because I think that's where Tenet probably wins.
Yeah, I was going to say Tenet as well.
It's like experimental use of, physical effects.
Yeah, I'd be happy with Tenet. I've seen like a quarter of Midnight Sky, and I've not seen The One and Only Ivan.
No, I think is it a Netflix film?
Disney Plus.
Yeah, it's a Disney film again. That's what makes me think. Like I was saying earlier, I would like Tenet to win.
Yeah.
But whenever I see a Disney film in there, I'm like, they're going to give it to that.
No, they hardly ever do, actually. to be fair, they've only ever given the one in recent memory I remember is the John Favreau's Jungle Book live action, and that did deserve the Oscar. But normally
they go for
I
something
think
a bit more like
Tenet,
experimental. Like
I think Tenet wins this hands down and should win it hands down.
Well, I want
Tenet
to win. Like I'm in agreement there. Like I think it should.
All in agreement. We're 2 for 2.
It's a consolation prize for not saving cinema.
I was going to say, give him some. He tried. He tried to save our industry,
or not giving him best directing or whatever.
Yeah, we'll give him Tenet VFX since the thing to save cinema was Big Monkey versus Big Lizard.
Yeah.
Right. So next we've got best original score. We've got The Five Bloods, Mank, Minari, News of the World, and Soul. Reese, we'll start with you.
I'd like to see Minari win because I thought the score in that was so good.
Stand out, yeah.
Like, just every time there was a bit of like, I think the music just fits so well with whatever was happening in the scene. And yeah, I think that should win and will win.
Minari's the only score that I've gone back to listen to after watching the movie out of these 5. It's so peaceful. I can really just chill out to some Minari. I think that should I think that should win, but I don't know. I can see this going to Soul.
Yeah.
I imagine
Trent Reznor
Soul's
and
score
Atticus
is pretty
Ross.
good. Like, I've not seen it, but I imagine it's pretty good.
The score is really good. I mean, those two can't really do any wrong. They're great, and they had really good score for Mank as well. Yeah, so I think Soul will take it, but I'd love this to go to Minari. Calvin?
Yeah, I think it's actually quite a strong category this year. Obviously, Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross are cheating a bit by being nominated twice. But
will that split the votes?
I do think Soul is gonna. Yeah, I do think Soul is gonna win. I loved Minari's score. I think it's amazing, and it's probably my favorite one. But then also the Five Bloods had a really amazing score.
Yeah.
The sort of suited the environment, the way the characters were and what they were doing. Like this sort of like rooted in realism, but also otherworldly at the same time. I think that did a really good job there.
The score for the Five Bloods was not overpowering, but noticeable in that way. Like Minari's was, it fit.
I think
and
I think Mank as well. They did a really good job at sort of capturing old time Hollywood with their score in that. But yeah, Minari I would like to win, but Soul I think his take on this one.
Nice, Jack.
Yeah, I think there's a few films that were nominated that I felt like should be. Like I thought the score in The Father was immense.
Yeah. I thought Nomadland's score was really good as well.
Yeah, I don't know why they can't nominate more people.
He'll never end.
I think was it Luke? I think Calv knows this. Was it Ludovico Einaudi who did The Father and he did something else as well? There were 2 films. I can't remember what the other one was. There's 2 at the Best Picture noms, I think.
I can't remember. What else he might have done? Yeah, but he might have done 2 scores this year. Yeah, but he's an amazing.
Yeah, I really can't remember what the other one was. That's gonna drive me insane. But both of those I thought were immense. But out of the ones that we got nominated, I think Soul will win, and like it's not an unworthy winner, but for me, Minari I just thought was unreal. Like it is just like I don't know, that kind of music really just just speaks to me in a big way. Like
yeah, they're 2 very different scores as well, because Soul does so much. Like it goes from like hard jazz to like the more ethereal sounding stuff.
Yeah,
so
there's really 2 different scores in Soul.
Just for technical achievement, I think Soul wins it, but for tone, I think Minari did it a bit better.
Yeah,
nice.
I feel like the next time I receive bad news, I want the Minari soundtrack in the background.
Or happy news works on both levels.
Yeah, it does. It works on
Just tell me
both.
you're not
Let's go,
farming.
like, I just want some. I wanted to elevate or reduce the mood. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was
Crush
Do
great.
anything.
Yeah, I wanted to either really uplift me or absolutely
Destroy
push me
you.
to the edge. Yeah, there's no coming back.
Right, next we've got Best Original Screenplay. So we've got Judas and the Black Messiah, Minari, Promising Young Woman, Sound of Metal, and The Trial of the Chicago 7. I'll start on this one. I think this is Promising Young Woman's all day. I think it will win, and I think it should win. I think that movie it looks like a Best Original Screenplay winner. You know what I mean? Just the idea of it and the execution and the way it plays with tone. I think that's its award to lose.
I think Promising Young Woman, wins it all day.
Mm.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Academy went for Aaron Sorkin, though. You know, he loves his tight scripts. But I think Promising Young Woman is the best original script here, even though I do think Minari and Sound of Metal are really great. But I think Promising Young Woman just does more with the format.
Yeah, I think not
approaches
just
it in just a fresh way.
If it was based purely on dialogue, then I'd try the Chicago 7. But I think just because of the idea, the premise of Promising Young Woman as well, I think that gives it the edge.
Yeah, definitely.
Jack?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think I really
Or
enjoyed
Reece?
Promising Young Woman.
Yeah, no, I tend to agree. I think Promising Young Woman will. I reckon it. Yeah, I think it will and should win. I think for me, Sound of Metal and Minari are going to sweep away so many others, and I'm not sure the Promising Young Woman is going to get best picture, but I think it definitely deserves something. So I think, I'm going to back that for best screenplay, original screenplay.
Nice. Reece?
Yeah, I'm gonna go and say Promising Young Woman as well, just because it's just a really good film, innit? I think you guys have covered all the the main parts. Nothing I can really add to it other than it was just a really solid film with a really interesting plot point, and just everything about it was great.
I think people like the signposting as well. The act structure. Like you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 people. That is really fit. If you do that well, it's such a solid foundation to go off.
Yeah.
And your script will just work because you're like, right, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, and then 4 will be the climax. But it did it in a fresh and interesting way. So I do think that's why it deserves it.
Right, so moving on. Best adapted screenplay. So we have Borat 2, The Father, Nomadland, One Night in Miami, and The White Tiger. Reece, we'll start with you for these.
I don't see The Father win it. I really like The Father. I was saying before that from the trailer, I was convinced there was going to be some really sinister plot behind it.
Oh, okay.
But the fact that it was just, that it was just an honest film about dementia, it really got to me. So I would like to see that win.
Yeah, I think. What do you think will win?
I mean, Nomadland is there. It's very popular with people. But the world is so crazy at the moment that Borat could take it.
I'd be all right with that.
Borat, they'd just be like, yeah, let's give it to Borat. Why not?
Yeah.
I think
Did the first Borat win an Oscar?
I think it got nominated for screenplay. I don't think it won though.
I only saw the first one last year. So
have you seen number 2?
No, I haven't. No.
It is great, but I think The Father should win, just because like Reece, I was like, oh, they're not going to go with a horrible plot going on behind the scenes to make this man seem crazy. Anyone see that movie Collateral Beauty with Will Smith?
Yeah.
I thought it was going to end up like that, where they're trying to make this man go insane.
Yeah, that was awful.
Yeah, but it's an even darker turn, because this time it would be elder abuse.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, oh, please don't do that. And it does turn out that it's just, it's dealing with dementia. And I thought they did that so well. And you felt like Anthony Hopkins, you felt disoriented in the movie.
Yeah.
You really weren't
yeah, they
sure
did a really
what
good
is
job
going
of
on.
that.
I
Yeah.
felt like so frustrated watching it,
Yeah.
but in like a good way. Because again, I guess there's no real way for it to. They're never going to simulate 100% what it's like to have dementia, but they did a bloody good job of it.
Yeah.
I thought it was, and like he gives, and we'll talk about it later down the line. But yeah, his performance is incredible.
Yeah, again, purely like Promising Young Woman,
I think that's
like
probably got a
purely
shout.
from a an idea for a script. Obviously it's adapted, but just the basic premise of it, I think, is really interesting, and they pulled it off really well. But again, I wouldn't be surprised if this went to Nomadland,
Yeah,
which is a fine movie, but it's fine. It seems to be the favorite for some reason, but yeah,
you
Calvin?
sound like one of those like old people back in the day who went to like when they called it the pictures. They come out and like that was
It's a fine picture.
movie.
That's a
That
fine
was a
movie.
fine picture.
Fine movie.
A majestic feature. Calvin?
Yeah, same as you guys, really. I would love to see The Father win. I think they did an amazing job at adapting this, obviously, from it's a play, isn't it? Stage?
Is
I
it?
think it's a
Usually,
play,
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So,
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, the one setting.
yeah, that's what I mean. I think they did an amazing job. If something is going to be set in one setting, the likes of 12 Angry Men and so on, it needs to have such a strong script. And the thing with this did so well, but it isn't actually one setting, but it is at the same time.
Yeah.
Like we're constantly moving through settings, but it feels like one setting because we're experiencing it through his eyes.
Mm.
I just think they did an amazing job with that to sort of pull off, like a one setting, but actually not one setting place. Everywhere felt the same, even though the decor and everything with it was different. But to do that, to pull that off, you need such a strong script. But at the same time, Nomadland is in this category, and I think that will win, just purely because it's been raved about for the past year. It seems like a favorite amongst the Academy already.
Yeah.
So I will not be surprised if that wins, but I'd love to see The Father win it.
Jack?
Yeah, I think The Father will and should win, but then I also would quite like to see One Night in Miami win.
Yeah, that was my second pick.
I feel like that's such a for that to be Regina King's first film, and to adapt that, I think again that's from a play as well. To adapt it so well, I think it's just a real feat coming from acting, and I just think it should be praised.
Yeah, and again, largely set in one location.
Yeah, it's just in that one room and then just on the outside of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
And like films like that, I'm always kind of a bit like, is it going to do it well? Because like if it's done poorly, then that's going to be so boring. But it's literally just four men talking, and I think it's like just over 90 minutes or something. I thought it was great. So if that, I think The Father will win, and I would like it to win, but I would also kind of like One Night in Miami to win. I think that'd be nice.
I won't be surprised because that is the only nomination it's got, isn't it? Oh, and supporting actor.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd like to see it. I'd be fine with it winning screenplay. That'd be nice. So next we got Best Animated. So we got Onward, Soul, Shaun the Sheep, Farmageddon, Wolfwalkers, and Over the Moon. I think this is the easiest category to call.
Yeah, it's just Soul.
Soul.
It's just nip in the bud.
Yeah.
Soul is winning it.
I've only seen Onward and Soul. I haven't seen the other three, but I mean, it's Pixar.
Soul's taking it.
And it's very good. It deserves,
Yeah.
Congratulations, Soul.
Well done.
Well done, Soul. Take it
from
now.
us. From us here at Keeping It Real.
Well done.
Well done to Soul.
Like, I've not even seen it, and I'm like, yeah, Soul's gonna win.
It is very good.
Well, because Soul and Onwards, like Onward, the Soul's in a completely different league to Onwards. Like Onward, I watched it, I enjoyed it, and I was like, that was fine. Like that was a fine.
Yeah, it was
film.
so middling all the way through. I thought the end was great. They brought it home, but throughout like 3/4 of it, I was like, it's okay.
Yeah.
One of the weaker
Also-
Pixar movies.
I feel like Shaun the how many Shaun the Sheep films are there?
2.
I think there's only
second one,
2.
isn't it?
Yeah.
I feel like has it been nominated before, or was the first one nominated?
First one
No,
was
this is-
I
nominated.
see it.
Yeah, that came out ages ago though. Farmageddon.
Yeah.
Was
Yeah,
it not
I
just
feel like-
early
it was
last
early.
year?
Yeah, it was early last
Yeah,
year.
yeah,
but-
yeah.
I feel like I honestly feel like it's been nominated for years. Like
Every
I
year,
don't know why.
Shaun the Sheep
also,
finds his way
I was
in.
it
I was
might-
looking at the list. I was looking at the list of them, and I saw Best Animated Feature, Shaun the Sheep. And I was like, "Fuck again!" Like I
also,
don't know why.
because it's a British film, it might have come out way before America.
Yeah,
If you
that's
think
a
about
good point.
that, so it might have came out in America at the start of the year, start of 2020.
It's just mad to
But
me.
I think it came out 2019 in the UK. I remember.
It's just
I
mad to
remember
me that
seeing-
Shaun the Sheep
Yeah.
would be nominated for an Oscar. Like when I was
It's stop motion, isn't
younger-
it? And so
when I was
Yeah.
younger watching Shaun the Sheep, I never sat thinking one day this is gonna be it's gonna be in the big leagues one day.
Yeah, maybe you didn't understand the stop motion when you were 5.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you didn't understand the grueling task that it is to make a bloody Shaun the Sheep film, mate.
5? What do you mean? I was watching when I was like 13.
I just sat in your room at 13, be like, I can knock this out in a week.
it's not that good.
He's just a sheep.
It's a sheep, man. Lords of them outside.
Why couldn't you get a real one? Right, so now we'll move on to supporting actress. She's got Maria Bakalova from Borat 2, Glenn Close from Hillbilly Elegy, Olivia Colman from The Father, Amanda Seyfried from Mank, and Yoon Ya Jung from Minari. I think Yoon Ya Jung, will win it. She brought so much warmth and humor to that role. It's really a good performance, but I would love Maria Bakalova to take it for Borat 2. Not only is it such a funny performance, obviously because of what Borat is, it's very brave and it's such a different type of acting. And she really brings so much heart to that movie. When I love the first Borat, but I thought Borat 2 it had something else to it because of her, and I think she's got a good chance of winning as well. So, Reese,
I don't know. I'm torn between 2 really. So yeah, Yoo Jung Yoon, she was brilliant in Minari.
Mm.
But like it's Olivia Colman as well. I think it's just because I just love Olivia Colman.
she is
So
great. in
anything she
Father.
does, I'm like brilliant. So I don't know. It's between. I'm gonna say I would like Olivia Colman to win it, but I think Yoo Jung Yoon's gonna win it.
Nice, Jack.
I will be I will riot if Yoo Jung Yoon doesn't win this. I will be absolutely livid. Me and Carl watched that together, and as soon as it was over, I was like, "Is she bloody nominated? Because she should be." She brings such an energy to the film. She's a scene stealer. Every time she was on screen, I was just captivated. She's so good, and like for most of the film, she's just like an uplifting presence. Then obviously, later on, she has the stroke, and she's a much more like vulnerable character, and she delivers those two ends of the spectrum just like I thought expertly. She was incredible. Best part of the film for me. If she doesn't win, I'll quit the pod.
You heard it here first.
Calvin.
Yeah, same. Yeah, Jagoon. She just.
I thought you were going to say you'll quit the pod as well.
She completely, she completely stole the show in Minari. The film was great without her, but as soon as she arrived, it was like the catalyst for everyone else around her to sort of to really push the plot forward within the film. And I think she, that was part and parcel because of the way she acted. I just thought, she, same as Jack, she brought an amazing energy to the film. She could play with jokes. She was able to delve into both that and, like tragedy. So yeah, definitely. I think I want her to win. and I think she will win it.
Nice. I think we're all going to be on the same page with Best Supporting Actor as well. So we got Sacha Baron Cohen for Trial of the Chicago 7, Daniel Kaluuya from Judas and the Black Messiah, Lakeith Stanfield from Judas and the Black Messiah, Paul Raci from Sound of Metal, and Leslie Odom Jr. from One Night in Miami. This is Daniel Kaluuya's award all day. Such a complete transformation. Do you agree?
Yeah, I will quit the pod if Daniel Kaluuya doesn't win this. I will be absolutely fuming.
Yeah,
if
I really
anyone
like.
else takes this.
I'd really like Paul Raci to win. To be honest, I loved his performance.
It
It was such
very
a
good.
So I've only seen him in a couple of things, but I know like in his life he has also been taken down, bad path or something like that. But I think he gave like his character in this was like the way obviously Paul Raci looks is very gruff and menacing, but then his character and so just so gentle and forthcoming
and so empathetic.
I just say it was so empathetic, such an honest portrayal of that character. So I would love to see him win. I think if Daniel Kaluuya wasn't nominated this year, I think it would go to Paul Raci.
It's such a different end of Daniel Kaluuya.
Yeah.
So it's such a big performance.
Yeah, and it benefits
so
from
much
from the screen time Daniel Kaluuya gets as well.
Yeah, Paul Raci is. But yeah, because arguably Daniel Kaluuya could be up for lead.
Yeah.
So there is that whole thing.
I think this is a really solid group, though.
It's very good. Yeah.
I've seen all, apart from Leslie Odom Jr., I've seen them all. I've seen Leslie Odom Jr. in other things, so I'm sure he is great in One Night in Miami. But like Sacha Baron Cohen in the Chicago 7, I always kind of forget that he's like actually a good actor. So I just associate him with like Borat and
silly stuff.
It's the silly stuff.
That's like method acting. What he does.
To me, that's
almost
just like
harder than
it's him being silly, whatever. But like, then you watch something like this, and you're like, no, he actually really knows what he's doing. He really knows his craft.
Yeah.
So
seeing him in stuff like this, and it just makes me even more gutted that he didn't play Freddie Mercury.
Yeah,
that he would have killed that completely. Jack.
To be honest, I hadn't considered that Paul Raci could win. I think, like Calv, it would be really nice if he did win. I think this is Daniel Kaluuya's. But there's not. If Daniel Kaluuya doesn't win, 110% that man is winning an Oscar in his lifetime. Same with Lakeith Stanfield. I don't think this will be Lakeith's year just because Daniel Kaluuya is so. They're both amazing, but I think Daniel's just kind of like pipped into the post with this one. But 100%, both those men, regardless of whether they win this year or another year, both those men are going to have best Oscars at some point in their lives, for sure.
Yeah, I think Kaluuya's going to have a few by the end of his career.
Yeah, and Leslie Odom Jr., he gave a really good performance, but I just think it's like overshadowed by the majority of this like roster of actors, basically.
I'll be stunned if Daniel Kaluuya doesn't win this.
Yeah, I will.
They are all good, but I think he was just
so good. Like I remember
on another level.
This film, I've never been so like it riled me up. Like when he's doing those speeches, I was just like, let's go.
Yeah.
I think
I guess like he's obviously emulating a real person, like Chairman Fred Hampton, who obviously was this incredibly like magnetic person, which is why they had like such a following. And like I don't know, I just think that sometimes trying to emulate that is going to be so hard that it's going to come off, it's going to look forced and like you're doing too much. But I think he nailed it, so I think he deserves it.
It never did. It never felt like an impression. It
really
just transformed. So next we've got Best Actress. Yeah, I forgot if we'd done Supporting Actress. Of course we have. So we've got Viola Davis from Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Andra Day from The United States versus Billie Holiday, Vanessa Kirby from Pieces of a Woman, Frances McDormand for Nomadland, and Carey Mulligan for A Promising Young Woman. Calvin, we'll start with you for this one.
I think it's going to be pretty obvious. I think Frances McDormand is going to take this. And I don't know if that's what I want. I think all the other performances are great, but hers is a great performance because it's her most subtle performance I've seen her in. Like all her mannerisms are so, her character's so nuanced. You've really got to look for them. And I do feel like when you watch Nomadland, she feels like a fully fledged person. So I'll give her that. But so I think she's going to win. But then I also think Carey Mulligan, I would like to see her win. And also, Frances McDormand's already got 2 Oscars. So maybe, yeah. But I think Frances McDormand's going to take it. But yeah, Carey Mulligan, Vanessa Kirby is also another good shout. She's amazing in Pieces of a Woman. Viola Davis is great, but I don't think she's taken this one. Yeah, so I think Frances McDormand is going to take it, and then I'm sort of on the same page with Vanessa Kirby and Carey Mulligan. I would like to see either of those win, but I think Frances McDormand's going to take this.
Yeah, Viola Davis won the Screen Actors Guild Award, so I actually think she might be the favorite to get this.
Yeah, possibly.
She is great, but I mean, like you, I'd much rather see Carey Mulligan or Vanessa Kirby take it. Pieces of a Woman is a good movie, but she elevates it.
Yeah,
so much. It's such a raw performance. Like within those first 15 minutes of such an impressive scene, for her to maintain that throughout that, it's one take, one shot even. So I'd be happy if she took it. And then Carey Mulligan, this is like one of her standout performances for me, and I love that movie, and she, she's such a big part of that. So I'd be happy with either of those two. Reese?
Yeah, I'm going to go off what I've seen, because I haven't actually seen like all of these movies. I did think Frances McDormand was going to win it, but I've never seen a Frances McDormand film, and I don't think I ever want to. Because from all the trailers I've seen,
we don't all agree with this, by the way.
Yeah, you lot are probably going to completely disagree with me, but from all the trailers I've seen of her films, they seem like my worst nightmare.
She's one of her the best. I would say she's probably one of the best sort of American actresses of her generation.
I don't think it's her that's the problem. I think she's obviously a great actress. She's got Oscars. I think it's the film she's in that puts me off.
Well, you don't like
the Coen Brothers films.
I just, like I said about, I just don't think they're my kind of films.
Fargo,
Fargo,
surely something you
treat yourself.
I've not seen Fargo, so I'll give that a watch and then I'll get back.
I know the listeners can't.
As well.
Yeah, I know the listeners can't see us, but me, James, and Calvin are literally all looking at the camera like, "What the fuck are you on about?"
Listen, one of us has got to be controversial out there. That's how podcasts go.
That is what an absolutely outrageously sweeping statement to make.
Came out of nowhere.
I'm just listen. I'm speaking my truth, guys. Okay.
You do you, man. You do you. But watch Fargo.
Reese, I'm glad that we made this part a safe enough space for you to feel like you could say that.
Yeah. But no, can't.
But you can't.
It's not that you can't. It's that you shouldn't.
No, she might be great, guys. I've not seen a film with her in it.
She is.
So she might be great.
No, she is
good. Sure. I don't think she should win for this though, but she's very good.
But no, I think Carey Mulligan. I'd love to see her win it because her performance in Promising Young Woman was so good. Like just
so surprising as well from her.
Yeah, like the switches, going from playing this really drunk over the place, that's just a quick switch, just so seamlessly into what she has to do next, kind of almost psychopathic kind of what is she, like a vigilante, like a weird vigilante?
It's just so much control, over it.
And like I said, Viola Davis is great. Like I said earlier, anyone can learn to lip sync really well. So that for me, kind of that's why I think Carey Mulligan takes it over her, because
Rami Malek won Best Actor and he didn't lip sync well.
I was fuming about that.
Should have been Sacha Baron Cohen.
Should have been. Should have, could have, would
Well, if it was Frances McDormand, he wouldn't have watched it.
No, I wouldn't know.
And I'll tell you what, Reese, if Frances McDormand was cast as Freddie Mercury, she'd fucking nail it.
Well, I haven't seen Bohemian Rhapsody, so I
Don't.
wouldn't know either way.
Don't. Have you said your pick, Jack?
No, I think Frances McDormand's got a good shout of winning, but I don't want her to because I think she's had better performances in better films.
Yeah.
And also, yeah, she's already got 2. Come on, give it a rest.
Have a day off.
Put in a shit performance for once, Frances. I think this is between Vanessa Kirby and Kerry Mulligan.
Yeah.
Vanessa Kirby's character feels so much more real, and it's like such a tragic performance. But Kerry Mulligan, I don't know. I would really, really like her to get it, even though I feel like her performance is less grounded than Vanessa Kirby's.
That's just the film she's in, though, isn't it?
Yeah, no,
yeah.
I know,
stylized.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I get it. I think Frances will win, but I'm torn between Vanessa Kirby and Kerry Mulligan. I'm leaning more towards Kerry Mulligan to win it.
Yeah,
but I wouldn't be. I'd be fine with either of them.
Nice. So next we've got Best Actor. She's got Riz Ahmed, Sound of Metal, Stephen Yeun for Minari, Gary Oldman for Mank, Anthony Hopkins for The Father, and Chadwick Boseman for Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. This is such a tough category.
I mean, sleep over
it's
it.
it's a great one when Gary Oldman is nominated, and I'd argue his performance out of those 5 is the weakest.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean he's very good in Mank, but I don't. These other 4, I think, are something else. I think Chadwick will probably take this, and he's great. He's great in Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, but obviously because he passed, I think this will be as like a celebrating his career and all the other work he's done as well.
Yeah.
Not to say that he doesn't deserve it for this, which he very much does. But personally, I'd love to see Riz Ahmed win. I don't know if that movie will get. It'll probably win like best sound categories.
Yeah,
but I don't imagine it getting a lot else. He broke my heart in that movie. It was the way he nailed the emotion, but again, it's such a technical performance as well because he's going deaf and he's experiencing that, and he's got to learn new skills. He learned to drum. He learned American Sign Language, and it was just flawless for me. That being said, Anthony Hopkins as well was incredible in The Father.
Yeah, he really.
There was a couple of scenes in that where I was
acting chops there.
God, yeah. Just because we've seen him in the last few things we've seen him in, like Thor, where he's not doing a lot, and then he does something like this. You're like, oh my God, yeah, he's Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah,
he's incredible.
Sir Anthony Hopkins.
Sir Anthony Hopkins. I apologize. Yeah, Calvin.
Yeah, I agree. I think Chadwick will take it, but I'd love. There's so many others. To be honest, I'd be happy. The only one I wouldn't be happy with is Gary Oldman winning, even though I think it's a really great performance. Stephen Yeun's performance and Riz Ahmed is so real and nuanced.
Yeah,
and they felt, you really felt for those characters and what they were striving, like what their goals they were striving for.
Yeah.
But then Chadwick Boseman is just like, his performance stands out amongst them because it's such a different performance to the others. It's like he's not trying to be nuanced and in on himself. It's he's electrifying. Your eyes are glued on him the entire time. He's like fast talking. He never lets you. He steals the scenes. He's never like letting you focus on anything else. So you're just magnetized to him the entire time.
Yeah.
But then with, say, like Anthony Hopkins approaches it the other spectrum, but I still felt like he was, not electrifying that you were still glued to him the entire time because his performance felt so real. And I just love how Anthony Hopkins in that film, like we said about Kerry Mulligan, just kept switching. The bit
I was going to say he's just changing all the time
when he meets the woman, the nurse.
Yeah.
And he's like doing all the tap dancing, joking around with him, and then he just switches and he's immediately menacing. And I just think he did an amazing job in that film. He could play someone who was funny, someone who was happy and dancing, someone who was like really menacing, but then also someone who is literally
terrified,
so terrified and vulnerable of what they're going through. Like the last scene just absolutely like breaks you. And I don't think I've actually seen him act this way. Like he's obviously an amazing actor, but I've never seen him really push the limits this much and really steal. Like there's not many actors to steal it from in this film, but so I think Chadwick will win, but I really think Annie Hopkins gave the strongest performance this year. It just resonated so much with me, and I wasn't expecting it from it.
Jack?
Like I said earlier, I've lost bloody sleep over this. Carl has basically covered everything about Chadwick Boseman that I had to say. It's just like he's such a good actor, and it's such like a huge loss to everyone that this is his last film, but he gives in a hell of a performance. But it's so different to everyone else's. Like he's quite obviously playing a character, whereas if you told me any of these other actors were playing real people, I would just be like, yeah, I can see that. Do I think I would like Chadwick to win because I think he was such a good actor, like in everything he's been in, and who knows what he would have produced had he not passed. But then it's also happens to be a year where he is going up against such strong performances. Basically, after every film I watched, apart from probably less so with Mank, after every film I was like, oh yeah, he's going to win. And then I watched the next one, I'm like, oh, he's going to bloody win too.
give them all awards.
Yeah, honestly, if they
except
were like
Gary Oldman,
people would be like, if the Academy were like, we're gonna give each of them an award, most people would be like, pathetic, cop out, and I'd be like, that's very fair, just what an incredibly just decision, just and fair from the Academy. Riz Ahmed was so good. It was heartbreaking. Like that film at the end when he's like walking down the street and he sits on that bench and he takes out those
the implants.
What are they called? Implants. And just the silence, as like the silence swept the screen. I could have, if I was in a less comfortable state, I probably would have cried.
I did.
And yeah, Stephen Yeun is so different from everybody else's. It's so like it goes
real.
I think it goes it goes like quite under the radar, I think, in comparison to the others.
Yeah, he's so nuanced that you've really got to
And then Anthony Hopkins, I hadn't watched the trailer. I didn't know what it was when you told me. You just said The Father was a Best Picture nom, so I was like, fine, I'll watch it. And yeah, that was the last scene where he's like crying into the nurse's shoulder, saying like he wants his mother and everything. I was like, good God. I was like, this is awful. He is so unbelievably good. But again, he's another one who he's won Oscars, which doesn't take away from, they shouldn't approach it like because he's won, he shouldn't win this one, because I'd argue this is probably maybe his greatest ever performance.
Yeah,
from
what I've seen, he was astounding.
Yeah, and I think for me, Gary Oldman is the weakest in this, not because he's not good, because obviously the man is literally a comedian. He could play absolutely anybody. But
I think because he's done better as well. We have seen him deliver better performances.
Yeah, and the film didn't resonate with me like the others. Like I didn't have that attachment to it afterwards. I could see this going so many different ways. I would like Chadwick to get it, but then I would also like I'd like Riz to get it, and I'd like Anthony to get it as well.
If it went
I
to
don't know.
anyone, like, you know, 4 of them, I'd be happy.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah,
I'd be happy with it.
yeah. I think my pick. I think Chadwick is going to win. I think, to a degree, he should win. But then I reckon Riz Ahmed. I'd really like Riz Ahmed to win.
Riz?
Yeah, I think Chadwick is going to win it because it is like a nice little posthumous thing, but also he deserves it for performances he's put in. And yeah, he is great in that film. Like with him, Riz Ahmed, and Anthony Hopkins, the last scene of all 3 of their films are so good and so strong. Like, but for me, when I was watching the films, I was like, Stephen Yeun's going to win this. He has to win it. And that was until I watched The Father, and then I was like, it has to be Anthony Hopkins because he is so good in it. And like, I feel like I'm the opposite to you, James, whereas you cry at most films by the sounds of it.
Yeah.
Whereas I don't cry very often at films. But I was getting so choked up in that last scene where he's crying for his mother, and I was like, it's got to be it. He's got to win it because of this. Like, I think, again, it's one of those things. If any of those people win, they deserve it. But I think Chadwick will win it. But I'd like to see Anthony take it. Why not?
Nice. So next we got Best Director. So we've got Thomas Vinterberg for Another Round, David Fincher for Mank, Lee Isaac Chung for Minari, Chloe Zhao for Nomadland, and Emerald Fennell for Promising Young Woman. I think this is going to Chloe Zhao. I think she's got all the momentum. Plus, yes, she directed, she wrote, she co-produced, and she edited it. So I think when people vote for director,
vision. Yeah.
When people, she's in, in every aspect of this movie. I think when people vote for Best Director, they will take that into consideration, probably.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm gonna pick Emerald Fennell for Promising Young Woman, just because out of these, it's got such a signature on it, and such a style, and it never apologizes for what it is. And I think she juggled humor and drama so effortlessly in a film that does have such a serious and dark subject matter. And I think she just pulled that off tremendously. So that's my pick. Jack?
Basically, yeah, I think Chloe Zhao is probably going to win. Out of those 5 films, I'd say Nomadland and Mank were my least favorite.
Yeah, same.
That's not to take away from their direction. I think they were all very good films, but for me, I reckon either Emerald Fennell or Lee Isaac Chung. But again, I watched Another Round today, and I've never seen a Thomas Vinterberg film before, but I thought that film was incredible.
Great,
it was great. It's so good, and like I'm 100% going to watch more of his films.
And
that, but I think it was better than Minari or Promising Young Woman. It's not better than Minari, I don't think. So I think Chloe Zhao has basically got this in the bag, but I would really like Lee Isaac Chung or Emerald Fennell to get it, which is interesting because they are completely opposed, like they're opposing ends of the spectrum, both those films. So yeah, those are my picks.
Calvin?
Yeah, I think Chloe Zhao is going to take it because of how involved she actually is, like her name is all over it. She's put her own stamp on it. Thomas Vinterberg, he is a master at his craft. Every film I've seen is like The Hunt, Festen. He's just so good at creating these just such realistic scenarios. And yeah, David Fincher actually is quite a good shout, because I think this is the first time where he's really matured as a director and explored an area of film which he's not really familiar with. We know David Fincher is usually more within sort of the thriller, sort of fast-paced, not fast-paced, there's usually, but there's usually an aspect of a thriller there. But I think for this film, he really
subdued,
showed that he could do something else. So I'll give him credit for that, but I don't think he's going to win. Emerald Fennell, that was directed really well. I do think it's easy to say that because she did handle the comedy and tragedy really well, that film is so loud and in your face that it's easier
to spot
to pick up. Where I think my favorite directed film was Minari, which was directed through like the subtleties, and it felt like he really had like a relationship with all of the actors and everyone involved in the film to sort of try and band together and achieve what he did. It just seemed it was such an earnest sort of way to frame a film. The same with Nomadland, but she had more control by the sounds of it. But yeah, so I think I would love Minari, Lee Isaac Chung to win, but or Emerald Fennell, but I think Chloe Zhao is going to take this.
Reese?
Yeah, I think I kind of agree with the general consensus. I think Chloe Zhao is going to win. But yeah, I think I'd like to see Emerald Fennell take it, because again, I enjoyed what she did with Promising Young Woman. So, yeah.
Nice. And finally, Best Picture. So we got The Father, Judas and the Black Messiah, Mank, Minari, Nomadland, Promising Young Woman, Sound of Metal, and The Trial of the Chicago 7. I mean, it's not the one I want, but I think Nomadland has probably got this in the bag.
Yeah.
You reckon?
It's got the most nominations, hasn't it? And I think definitely if it gets Best Director, then I reckon that it's got this. Again, clearly I'm a Promising Young Woman fanboy, so that is my pick. It's the one that stood out to me the most. It's my favorite movie of last year. It's about half of these really stuck with me after watching them, and half I've just not forgotten about, but not so present in my mind. So Promising Young Woman is my pick. Second, I'd probably go Sound of Metal. Calvin?
Yeah, I think actually it's a really strong category this year. I think it probably owes a debt to the pandemic in some way, because a lot of the what we call like Oscar bait films might not have came out. So I was quite surprised to see these films nominated, because they're quite on a smaller level, like Minari's A24, who are obviously like develop indie films.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love that there's a lot of films in this which frame the character's experience through like a new and interesting way.
Mm-hmm.
Sound of Metal does this. Like you expect to watch a film about a drummer, but then which is obviously so loud and visceral, but then you get such a peaceful, like when I was watching Sound of Metal, I just found it to be so peaceful. And obviously that's the way it was going with the end of the film. You're like learning not to try and fix things,
find peace with it.
Yeah, and you could find peace with it, and just that you encapsulated all that in the final shot with just the silence.
Yeah.
Minari, I think, is my favorite film out of these. And even if it doesn't win, I just love to see sort of South Korean influence be in this order 2 years in a row, because
that'd be great.
Their cinema is amazing. But I think Nomadland is going to win. I think it is the favorite to win, and I can just see it winning. I can see the Academy sort of lapping it up, even though I do think it's a good film. I mean, these are all good films. Trial of Chicago 7 is not going to win at all. So yeah, I think Nomadland's going to win, but I would like Minari to win, but I wouldn't be against Promising Young Woman or Sound of Metal winning as well, but I can't see either of those two winning. I could see Minari actually slipping in there somewhere.
I could, yeah.
Yeah, but I can't. For some reason, I just can't see Sound of Metal winning. I can see Promising Young Woman winning more, but still, it's not quite getting there where I can like. It might surprise me, but yeah, no, I think Nomadland's going to win.
Yeah, Promising Young Woman's subject matter as well, because of the Me Too movement. It is very relevant now, especially in Hollywood. So I think.
Yeah, but I'd say all of them are relevant in their
of course,
respective
in their own ways.
Fields. Yeah,
yeah. I forgot to mention as well, Nomadland did win Best Film at the Producers Guild and Golden Globe for Best Drama. So, Reese.
Yeah, I think Nomadland's probably going to take it. Just going off what everyone's saying about it, they seem to love it. But I would like to see Judas and the Black Messiah win it.
Okay.
Like I said, I don't think it will, and I don't think Trial of Chicago 7 will either, because I think at the moment with everything going on, and same with Promising Young Woman, with everything going on, I know you shouldn't bring politics into stuff like this, but I can't help but feel like it does. And I feel like because the subject matter is so real and very relevant and raw at the moment, I can't see them win it because of that.
You don't think they'll win because of that?
No, because I think that it's almost like there'd be so much. I feel like there'd be so much people kicking off either side that they're just kind of like they don't want, because if they give it to like Judas and Black Messiah, people are going to be accusing them of being woke and PC and all that. Whereas
I think if anything, that gives the films an advantage.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the Academy recently has been trying to be. It's always been political.
Yeah, I feel like you guys have more faith than I do in that.
Yeah,
but it is
it is political by nature.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. Like, obviously, if something like that did win, I'd be really happy about it because they are really important films, really important subject matter.
Yeah, I don't think it not winning is going to be because of its subject matter, though. I think like something like Green Book had, in a similar vein of subject matter, and that won Best Picture. I think the Academy recently, in the last couple of years, is actually more inclined to favour films that have more of a outspoken political edge. If you could say that.
Nah, it's just a cynic in me, man. I just don't believe in all these kind of big wig and big kind of corporation things. But no, I think Nomadland will take it off what people were saying. But yeah, let's see Judas and Black Messiah win it or Promising Young Woman. One of those two.
Nice. Jack?
I don't think Nomadland's going to win, to be honest.
No?
No, it wasn't high up in my rankings of these films. I think I put it out of the 8th. I think I put it like 6th or something.
It's in the bottom half of my picks.
Yeah, and that's not to say none of these are bad films. That's not to say it's a bad film. I just personally it wasn't for me. But I think Promising Young Woman is higher up on my list, but I think that's the real outsider. I think if that wins, that's going to be like a fuck. Like I can't believe like that's going to be like a huge thing.
I think if it gets screenplay, then it's got a bigger chance. But if it doesn't win screenplay, then I don't think it will get Promising Young Woman Best Picture. Either.
It would be good. It would be it would be good if it did, but I can't see it happening. So for me, I'm really torn between Minari and Sound of Metal because I think both had such an effect on me afterwards. I was just like, I was in awe of both of them. I'm really struggling to say which one is like edging it for me. I don't know. Calvin said Minari, so I'm going to back Sound of Metal. But nice. I would absolutely not. I would not be angry if either of them won. They both deserve it.
Wouldn't scoff.
No, I'd be perfectly happy with either. And again, another like if the father swept in, I'd be happy with that. I'd be happy with most of them, except for like, I'd be shook to my core if Trial of the Chicago 7 won this. I cannot see that happening at all.
Should be for that movie.
It's
Seen
just
it before.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was just bloody fine, wasn't it?
A bit long,
I thought it was
wasn't
really good.
I feel like it was a bit long.
I really liked it, but it has
Yeah,
been
I think
overshadowed.
I think because
No.
I've seen it twice, so I think watching it the second time,
I've only watched it once.
it was one of those things where I was like, God, this is good, but it's not. It definitely benefited from only one watch.
Right.
Whereas I think Minari and Sound of Metal would only, for me, get better.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna back Sound of Metal for this one.
Cool. And that's the show, guys. Thanks for sticking with us through our 2021 Oscar predictions. Let us know in the YouTube comments below your pick for each award. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at Keeping It Real UK. From there, you can find links to our Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Please like, rate, and subscribe where you can. We'll see you again on Monday for our review of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier series finale. Until then, please share this around if you enjoy and keep it real.